After a long NBA season that saw teams emerge and teams fall, playoff time has come. Yes, it's the WC with the 2014 NBA playoff first round matchup breakdown. Try to say that 10 times fast. Yes. Going to be breaking down these games round by round. So, I'm going to be doing those videos for you guys, my subscribers, loyal subscribers. If you're an NBA fan, you're going to like this video. Go ahead and subscribe, man. Down below. But let me go ahead and get right into this. Before I get into the complete breakdown of these games, I want to say this real quick. The Phoenix Suns finished the season with 48 wins, and they're not in the playoffs. Let me say that one more time. The Phoenix Suns have 48 wins, and they're not in the playoffs. Adam Silver, all right, there needs to be something done about that, all right? And then you got the Atlanta Hawks, who are 38 and 44, and they're an 8 seed. I mean, look, with all respect, the Western Conference is diesel, all right? There's not a team in the Western Conference playoffs. Listen to this. There's not a team in the Western Conference playoffs that has less than 48 wins. The team that's even close to that is the 8 seed, and they got 49 wins. So I think that Adam Silver, they should probably think about reseeding the playoffs and get the best 16 teams, best 18 teams into the playoffs every single year, so nothing like this ever happens again. Now, with all that said, let's get to the first matchup, the Indiana Pacers versus the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Indiana's been struggling. Paul George has been struggling. Hibbert's been struggling. Stevenson's been struggling. They've looked semi-terrible since the new year. I'm not even going to sit up here and lie. They've tanked it. They've hit cruise control. They need to get it back because Atlanta could take 2 games out of this series, and if they take a third, they're going to be a complete threat. And even though I don't like Atlanta's record, and I don't necessarily think that they deserve to be there, all right, they can come out and they can punch these people. They can punch Atlanta. They can punch Indiana in the face. Atlanta and Indiana is kind of hard to get mixed up. All right, but when it's all said and done, when all the dust is settled, Indiana wins this series in 5 games to me. All right, now let's go to a team that I've ridiculed, a team that I've said that they were getting old. All right, and they still are. But they got, good young pieces. The San Antonio Spurs finished the season with 62 wins, the best team in the NBA. All right, what do you want me to say? All right, I just ate crow. What do you want me to say? And they're going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who I just stated before as the 8 seed. And this matchup right here, if there was any time that an 8 seed can be the number 1 seed, for sure, it's this matchup right here. All right. Dirk Nowitzki, hands down, is one of the greatest NBA players of all time. All right. But he's going up against, the 3 amigos, Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan. And those guys don't look like they're completely slowing down at all. And then you throw in Green and Leonard and those other guys that can just light it up. San Antonio is just going to be too much for them in the end. I think it goes 6 games. I think that San Antonio wins in 6. Now, going down to Miami and Charlotte. Now, Charlotte is a team that's turned it around, man. I mean, really. I didn't expect for it to happen this quick. But then again, I take that back. When you're in the NBA draft lottery as much as the Bobcats, and look, I'm not trying to go in on them. Listen to what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to go in on Charlotte. I'm saying, like, if you've been in the NBA draft lottery that much, okay, then sooner or later you should probably have a good team. And I'll say that again about another team a little bit later on in this video. But for right now, I'm saying it about Charlotte, who's going to be the Hornets next year, which is honestly it's about time if they got that name back. But they're going to be going up against the defending champions, who, just like Indiana, man. It just seems like they've just been tanking it over the last month and a half. It just seems like they just took the foot off the gas. We're top 2, top 1 seed, and Charlotte can take 2 games from Miami, but they won't win the series. Miami will probably win it in maybe 5. maybe 6 games. I'll give Charlotte the benefit of the doubt that they can beat the Heat. All right, they can beat them, but they're not going to be winning their series for sure. LeBron James and D Wade and even Chris Bosh taking threes. I take that over Charlotte at this point. Now, in my mind, the reigning, not the reigning, but the soon-to-be NBA MVP Kevin Durant going against Memphis. This is probably going to be the most hard-nosed, in-your-face matchup of the entire playoffs, because Memphis is just one of those teams that they're just sneaky. They're very, very sneaky. How could a team that has 50 wins be sneaky? You ask the WC, how could they be sneaky? Well, they're sneaky because we got Zach Randolph down below. And that guy just finesses everybody to death, and then he just comes over with the power moves. He's one of the best, he's basically the best power forward in the game to me. All right. Some people say Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin don't got a jumper. Sit down. Take a seat. Zach Randolph is the best power forward in the game. All right. Hands down. Nobody. Hey, you can say Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan at this point is a center to me. He's a center. I think that he's more so of a center than a power forward. They'll list him as a power forward, but he's a center to me. All right. And then you got Kevin Durant and Westbrook. These guys are just, I just think that they're in the frame of mind in which, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep Durant and Westbrook. All right. They're definitely going to be keeping Durant. Let me just say, I don't think that they're going to probably keep Westbrook. All right. Going down the line. If there's one of those two guys had to go, it's probably going to be Westbrook. So their window is starting to close a little bit, Oklahoma, with those two guys there. But, I think that this is probably one of those series that go 7. And in the 7-game series, I'm going with Oklahoma City. Now, let's go down to Toronto and Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn makes the big trade and gets, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett from Boston, who look like they're tanking it for the top overall pick in an NBA draft that really isn't all that great. To be real with you, that's just my opinion. I'll do a video on that later. But they're going against the Toronto Raptors now. The Toronto Raptors are the 3 seed, and Toronto is just one of those teams that's just built just to cause problems for a team like Brooklyn. All right, they're strong, they're athletic. They're quick. They can shoot the 3. And if you could do those 3-4 things in the playoffs, you pose a problem. All right, a very, very big problem. But Brooklyn has Joe Johnson. They have Darren Williams or D-Will. They have Pierce and Garnett, like I said before. I don't know if Lopez is going to be back for the playoffs. I'd highly doubt that. Maybe he does show up in the playoffs. Maybe not in this round. But this series right here is probably one of the most toughest ones to call, because Toronto could I think that Toronto could take them in 5 games. I mean, Brooklyn fans might think they might think that that's disrespectful, but Paul Pierce ain't getting no younger. Garnett's best years is almost basically behind him. He can still do it, but he's not. That's not the old KG. That's not young KG that they putting in there. You know what I'm saying? I look at KG like he's Shaq in his later years. Like, he could get the job done, but he's not gonna play 30 minutes a night. You serious? But in a 7-game series, I'm gonna have to go with Brooklyn here. All right. Toronto is a very, very good team. I don't think that they're ready yet for the showtime. They had a very good season. DeMar DeRozan is a very, very good player. But I don't think that they're ready to take out a team like Brooklyn. All right. I think that Brooklyn tanked just to get this matchup. For real. Because I don't think that they wanted to go against the Bulls. And I'll get to that matchup right after I get to this one. Los Angeles and Golden State. This is probably going to be the funnest matchup of the entire playoffs. Hands down. If you're going to go to a playoff game, go to one of these games. All right, you get that recommendation from me. Go to that game. Go to the Los Angeles Clippers against Golden State. Just go to that game. All right, because those two teams right there can light it up all day. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, who's starting to develop into a very, very good player. Very, I wouldn't say elite, but a very, very good player against. Just, oh my goodness, man. My brain kind of gets frozen when I think about how good and how young Golden State is, and then they bring in a guy like, Iguodala. I'm not saying that Iguodala is going to put them over the top, but that guy right there with that speed, and then he can shoot the three, and then you got Curry shooting the three. I mean, it's just then you got Thompson shooting the three. I mean, it's just wow. I mean, this series right here is just going to be very, very interesting to watch. Going to be up and down. And in a 7-game series, another 7-game series. I've already done three of these the 3 of these matchups already, and said that they're probably going to be 7-game series. I think that Golden State in 7 games beats the Clippers. All right, I think that Golden State it's their time. It's their prime time. If they go to the Western Conference Finals, don't be shocked. I'm calling it right now. That's a team right there. Don't be shocked. They're the team that for sure could get there this year. All right. Now let's go to the 4-5 matchups just to end off this video. Chicago against my team. I'm the Washington Wizards fan. All right. I'm gonna do this unbiasedly. All right. I'm gonna do this very unbiased. Chicago lost D Rose at the beginning of the season. All right. But the loss of D Rose didn't matter as much as it probably should have, because they're the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right. Bottom line, that's basically what it is. They've got enough talent there with Noah down low and those other complimentary guys to get the job done. But when you look at the Washington Wizards, I've watched the Washington Wizards the entire season. I'm a fan. All right. Been to a couple games. These guys are starting to play half-court basketball just better than teams would expect for them to play it. All right. And just like other teams in the NBA playoffs, you get Toronto out on the fast break, they're deadly. I don't even really need to talk about how deadly the Heat are in the fast break. I mean, most teams that's in the playoffs are great or deadly in the fast court games. And the Wizards are basically here because of the fact that their half court is definitely one of the most dangerous in the league. All right. John Wall has developed into a very good player. The Bulls with Noah, they're going to be in for a dogfight against the Wizards. All right. This series is not going to go 7, but I'm going to take Washington. Yeah, I said Washington. I'm going to take my own team in 6 games. Now, it could easily be the Bulls in 6, but I don't think that this series goes 7. Either way, either one of these teams are probably going to win in 6. I'm just going to go with Washington because I think that John Wall's time is now. That's what it is. I think that the loss of D Rose is going to show up in the playoffs for the Bulls. Now let's get to the final matchup and let me wrap this up. Houston against Portland. Another just photo finish matchup that probably will go 7 games. All right. Portland, with Lillard and Aldridge and those guys just having great seasons in Portland. I don't really get to see Portland play that much because they want to put the Lakers and put the Knicks on TV all the time. Teams that are not even in the playoff conversation all the time. And then meanwhile, you got teams like Toronto and Washington who have not been on national TV all year, suddenly becoming in the playoffs, suddenly on national TV. And people are like, oh my goodness, man, where did this team come from? Where'd this team come from out of nowhere? And I'm sitting over here, a loyal fan of my team, like, how come they weren't on national TV? How come they couldn't get a Sunday showcase and they're, blowing people out left and right and punching big name teams in the mouth repeatedly? How come they can't get on Sunday showcase? But they're going to get their chance now in front of a large audience. And, with this series right here, with this Houston and Portland series, I just feel as though that it's going to be another 7-game series. Both of these teams are evenly matched. Both have 54 wins. And I just think that James Harden, man, he's just one of those players, man, that in playoff time, he should be able to shine. He shouldn't be one of those players that get quiet during playoff time like he did in the finals a couple years ago. We didn't forget about that, James. You better show up this time. All right, man. It's the WC with the first round breakdown. Let me go over my picks, man. I got Indiana at about 5. San Antonio at about 6. Miami at about 5. Oklahoma City in 7 games, Brooklyn in 6 games, Golden State in 7 games, Washington in 6, and Houston in 7. So let me know what you guys think down below. It's the WC, man, with the NBA breakdown, first round matchups, man. Let me know what you guys think. Y'all hear the music cueing in the background. So y'all know that this video is over. Make sure that y'all like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, man. Let's talk about the playoffs, man. Playoffs? Don't talk about the playoffs. Don't talk about them. Now talk about them down below. It's WC, man. See y'all next time. Next round. Y'all later.